Welcome to Instagram Best Practices. My name is Susan Kimmel. I would love to know, for those of you who are on now, let me know where you're from, what your business is. There's just a couple of you right now. You're welcome to just tell me, or you can put it in the chat. Either way is great. And I'll tell you a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. We're going to talk about some Instagram statistics that are going to get you excited about wanting to put some time into Instagram. We're going to go over some of the basic things about Instagram. We're going to talk about the difference between a professional and a personal account. We'll talk about Instagram SEO, or search engine optimization. We'll talk about how you can engage with people and how to increase your engagement. What does that even mean? We'll talk about best times and frequency to post on Instagram. And then we're going to talk a little bit specifically about tips and reels. So this is a little bit higher level, but if you have specific questions, don't hesitate to ask, because I do want to hopefully answer as many of your questions that you have as we're going through this. All right, thanks, Mary Beth. Yep, I'm in Canton, Georgia too, and you're a life coach. I love coaches. I almost always have one at any given time in my life. So I'm glad you're here today. Okay, so for those of you who joined us, if you want to put in the chat your name, where you're from, what your business is, and like I said, this is super low key. You can unmute and ask me. I am not a formal person. I just want to make sure that you're getting the most out of this hour that you're going to spend with me. All right. So let me introduce myself. I'm Susan. I am the owner of Unstoppable Marketing. I'm a mother. I'm a Gigi. I'm an empty nester entrepreneur. I have a super cute dog, Mowgli. I love to travel. I'm an Enneagram 3. But I've always loved marketing. And during COVID, I went back to KSU and got my certificate in social media marketing. I was using it for my small business. Once I got that certificate, I had people saying, oh my gosh, can you help me with my social media? So it's just sort of, I have clients that I create content for, but I really just love working with small businesses and helping them learn about social media and how they can use this free or low-cost marketing tool. We know it's important. We know that every business really needs to have a presence at some level on some social media. So I'm really focusing now on working with small businesses in training and one-on-one consulting, group consulting, that type of thing. This is my family, my 4 kids and my 2, that picture's a year old now. So when you have grandkids or little kids, they just, you have to get pictures all the time, but so it's a little old, but okay. So let's talk about some Instagram statistics. Oh, hey, Jeannie, welcome from Queen. My good friend Chelsea lives there in Arizona, and Jean's from Marietta, and she helps with the sports clips. Okay, great. So welcome everybody. Okay, so let's talk about Instagram. I found this statistic the other day, and I was at first shocked, but then once I kind of thought about it, I wasn't as shocked. So 40% of Gen Z prefer to use TikTok and Instagram as their search engine. So most of us, when we go to find something on the internet, we go to Google, right? We go to Google, Safari, something like that. I thought, oh my gosh, like I would never think about that to search. But then I started thinking, just even over the holidays, I love doing crafts, and I would go on Instagram and TikTok Reels and look for Christmas crafts or Christmas recipes or Christmas cocktails. So I was using it as a search engine. And so it makes a lot of sense that if people are looking for something you may offer, that you want to have a presence on Instagram, because 40% of Gen Zers are using that. And you probably are not using it as your main search engine, but you're probably using it as a search engine. So we're going to kind of talk about how you can weave that into your business. Okay, another reason you probably want to be on Instagram is there's over 1.22 billion monthly active users. Of course, that's worldwide. Your market might be local, depending on what you do, or it might be US, but that's still a lot of users. 70% of Instagrammers are under 35 years old. And the 25 to 35-year-old age group is the largest demographic. So if your business markets to those age group, this is a great platform to be on. Not that if you're below or over that, you shouldn't be. That's just the biggest market. I loved this one because sometimes you think, oh, I need to have so many followers. to really even do anything on Instagram, but the highest Instagram reel engagement rates are obtained by Instagram accounts with fewer than 5,000 followers. So hopefully that gives you hope if you have less than 5,000 followers. If you have more than 5,000 followers, let me know in the chat how many followers you have on Instagram. Okay. Some more statistics that might get you excited about using Instagram. They've seen an 80% increase in the time users spend watching videos on Instagram, 30 minutes every day. So that's a really exciting statistic to me because people are on it longer. So the longer they're on it, the more opportunity they have to see your content. Also, Instagram has 58% more engagement per follower than Facebook. Now, for me, I definitely see that. Even on my personal page, if I post the exact same thing on my personal Instagram versus my personal Facebook page, I get way more engagement, meaning likes and comments on Instagram than I do on Facebook. So Instagram is where you're really going to get a lot of engagement, which is what you want if you're looking at, trying to find leads and get clients. You want that more engagement. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have a Facebook business page. I am still a firm believer that even though engagement on Facebook business pages are not that high, I still think it's important that you have one. This is just a little side note, but it's because people will verify the validity of a business on Facebook. So maybe you don't spend a lot of time there, but you still should have one with the basic information about your business. If it's a brick and mortar, like what time are you open? If you take, reservations or appointments or anything like that, I still think you need to have a Facebook business page, but maybe because the engagement's lower, you don't spend as much time there. It's all about prioritizing, right? Okay. So this is super important too. Photos with faces perform almost 40% better than those without. So those of you who don't like to put your face on your pictures or your videos, you really need to get over that because they're going to perform better. And you know what? I do believe that in the place we are now, that those filtered looks, that people just want that authentic connection with you. So like, you don't have to look your best and have your hair done just right and your makeup on, or if you're a man, like in the suit, like people just want to know you're a real person. Okay.
Susan,
yeah.
Can I start?
Sure.
Is there a correlation between photos versus live reels?
Yeah.
Where you're coming on talking in person versus a photo?
Yeah, I would say anything with your face on it is going to be better, whether it is a video or an image. This says images specifically, photos, but definitely even reels with you in them rather than just like a product reel or, like maybe it's a slideshow reel with like just, information about your company that's words. I think with you in it, it's going to be better and more engaging, and people are going to interact with it because they see a person there.
Okay, thanks.
All right. 62% of users say they're more interested in a brand after seeing it in an Instagram story. And we'll talk about the difference between, regular posts and stories, but stories are important. And what I love about stories is you can be super authentic and real. People go to stories expecting to be sold to. Whether it's me on a regular day saying, the other day I posted about my new air fryer. Like, I'm not selling air fryers. I'm not getting a commission on the air fryer, but that post was so many people engaged in that post. So people are expecting to learn something, to see something that they can buy, that they can engage in stories. They're expecting that, which I love for a small business, right? They're expecting to see something they're interested in a story. And 62% say they're even more interested in it after they see it in a story. So we're going to talk about how you should use stories as well. All right, 81% of Instagrammers use the platform for researching new products and services. Kind of how I went back to saying it's a search engine, right? They're going to look because you know why? Because of user-generated content, which we'll talk about a little bit as well. But when you go to Instagram, you hear real people who've used the product, right? You can hear, even if it's a company, let's say it's let's say it's Crumble Cookies, who I love, posting about their cookies of the week, people are going to look at those comments, and see who liked them and see what people thought about them. Or, whatever, people do Amazon hauls and they want to hear what people like about the product. So that's why people use Instagram to research products and services, because they're going to get real life examples of people using it, not just going to the website where, of course, we always put our best foot forward on our website. But on Instagram, they're going to get real life feedback. All right. I'm just going to make sure, give me a second here. I want to make sure that we don't have anybody in the waiting room. Okay. All right. 87% of Instagram users say they take action after seeing a product on Instagram. So that should also encourage you to want to be on Instagram. That's a lot. And I don't know. I mean, I do. I take action on Instagram when I see something I'm interested in. I'll either go to the bio and click on their link. I will just go over to Safari on my phone and search it. I might save it to look at later. So I believe these statistics. And 90% of accounts follow at least one business on Instagram. So as a business, you're going to be followed. So don't worry about people not following you. People are expecting to learn about things they might be interested in on Instagram. It's not just, what did my neighbor eat and, what's my niece up to? They're expecting to be, to see things they're interested in. All right. Any questions on those statistics before we move forward? Nope. Okay. All right. So here's the basics. This is a little coffee roaster that's right down the street from me. And I can also share from my phone, but I thought this might be a little easier. I can even see I'm already getting like a million text messages from friends or from my kids and everything. But okay, so this is Alma Coffee. And these are the basics about your business. This is going to be about your profile. All right. So at the top is the username. Okay. So here's what I recommend if you haven't set it up, or if you can still change it, is have your username be your business. So if you're like, for example, mine is Unstoppable Marketing. Okay. So have it be Great Super Clips or any of those things. Mary Beth, I'm not sure what your business name is, but have it be the actual name of it. Because down here, because we talked about search engine, how people are searching Instagram, the username isn't really searchable. I mean, it is, but it isn't. But your name is searchable. So you could say, my Alma Coffee is the username, or I'm going to make up a business. I'm going to say Susan's Crochet. Susan's Crochet. That's my site. That's my little thing I like to do at night, is I like to crochet. So we'll call it Susan's Crochet. Well, then in my name, I could use a searchable term like Valentine's Crochet. So if somebody's looking for something they want to decorate their house with for Valentine's, the name is actually searchable. So you could still put, you could put in the name, life coach, Georgia, female, any of those keywords you could put in there. So Mary Beth, I'm like kind of drawing a blank, like maybe it's self-growth or something like that. So just remember, when you're building your Instagram, everything here below where it says Alma Coffee and down is searchable. So if people go into the search feature and think about, when you're thinking about your business, what kind of questions will people ask to find you, to find a Super Clips, to find a life coach, to find a Mary Kay consultant? What are they going to search for? Hyaluronic acid. So maybe you want that in your bio, right? So anything you think might be like the hot thing, like retinol or personal growth, or any of those. I don't know your business, but if you kind of put yourself in the seat of your ideal client, what would they type in? Like how, life coach near me, like what would they specifically type in and then use those keywords? Does that make sense? Okay.
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
I was told, and I did this just because I just kind of dipped into Instagram before the holidays, to separate and have a personal Instagram and a professional and keep them two different lines.
That's really a personal choice. Do you want to so it depends on if you want to have a personal one where you're just posting pictures of your kids and your life. And it kind of depends on your business. So Jeannie, you're a Mary Kay lady. I kind of feel like you could have one, to be honest, because people want to see what you're doing. And the same with you, with the, you know, like anything where the business is really you, like you might sell a product or a service, but the business, like you're selling yourself.
Right.
I mean, you could still do separate, but then you have to maintain them both. Right.
Right.
So,
right.
So,
and we're real competitively showing dogs. So I've been putting like a lot of that, but that's me. And that's what I do.
Right. And you're selling a lifestyle as well. So I almost feel like you would be fine to be, to just, you know, like focus on you and all the things that you do, because you're more than a Mary Kay lady, but you do sell Mary Kay. And so I think that's okay to have it be one. And same if you're a life coach, right? Like you have another life and you do these other things. Now, like if you have employees, right, that are also doing like Alma Coffee, like it's a brick and mortar, right? Like it makes sense that the owner wouldn't have it part of their profile, you know, the super clips, right? You wouldn't want that to be your personal one. But if you have a business that you're selling yourself as part of it, I think it's fine to have one. So that's a good, and your personal one can also be a business account. Because, and we'll get into that. So I feel like it's totally fine to do that. I have a separate one because I'm hoping one day I'll have employees that will also work for Unstoppable Marketing. So I have a separate one. But I think Jeannie, you're fine to have it just be one. Yeah. Okay. So that's your name. So you can have your profile picture, and like, I would just have it, like Jeannie, Mary Beth, I would have it be your image. If you have a logo, you could use the logo, but since it's really you, especially like Mary Beth, you know, like people want to see, if they want a life coach, they're going to want to see you. So I would put your profile picture as your image, if you can, and if you feel comfortable with that. Even though you maybe do have a logo, you could use logos on any other types of content you do, but I would recommend your profile picture be your image, because you're part of the sale, you know, you're part of what people are buying. Okay, so then you can have your category. On mine, I just have entrepreneur. There's several different things because we're going to talk about a business account. And even if your personal and business is going to be one Instagram account, I recommend you move it over to a professional account. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But then in your bio, you can just put anything that is important to your business, right? And using those keywords that people are going to search on, because it's all searching. I like having it like, I love their little emojis, or you could use, you know, asterisks to kind of make it readable. You want it to be readable and, you know, kind of to the point. They're a cafe, so they put their hours they're open. They also have a link, which is great. So I definitely feel like you could all have links to, you know, purchase products, make an appointment with me. All of, you know, if you have a website, you could link to your website. You could link to a link tree, something like that. They're a brick and mortar, so they have their actual address here. If you work out of your home, don't put your home address there. Okay, and then action buttons. When you set your Instagram up as a business, you can have action buttons like contact, sell. You can go straight to selling. You can book an appointment. So that's a benefit of having a business account, and that's what those are here. And then these are highlights right here. Each of these, the farm, the cafe, the Alma Talk, and the roastery. And that's where you can take things that you put on your stories and group them into highlights. So for example, let's Mary Beth as a life coach, if you're going to talk about, maybe you're going to have a topic like grit, right? Like how important grit is to having a fulfilling life. Then anytime you talk about grit, you could put it, you could do a highlight of grit, or a highlight of, you know, different topics that maybe you would talk about as a life coach. or classes that you're offering, or group, group coaching or anything like that, whatever makes sense for you to have. Anytime you put something in stories about it, even if it's just like you're sitting in your car before, a dentist appointment, you're like, oh my gosh, I was just thinking about how important it is to have, bounce back ability because such and such, like maybe you're just talking, then that can go into the highlights. And it's a place where you can, it's kind of like units or like training, right? It could be if you sell a product, it could be, skincare, makeup, Jean, for smart clips, it could be, or smart clips, sport clips, sport clips. I'm sorry, I know that too. It could be different hairstyles, like men, short, long. You could have different images of the different haircuts. You could have one for employees, anything like that. So kind of be thinking, how do you want to categorize those? And that's a fun way for people to, I just watched one today from this influencer who's on this health journey. I spent like 5 minutes watching one of her highlight reels because I was wondering what this health journey, what she was on. So those are important and should be part of your overall strategy. All right, if we move over here to the right-hand side, this is just like the same thing. I just scroll down a little bit and I'm just going to show you what each of these little icons are. So this is just all of their posts underneath. But the little one that looks like a grid or like a Brady Bunch square or a Zoom thing, that's just, you click on that and you're going to see all their posts. If you click on the next one, you're going to see their reels. So that's a way to just separate out reels. So if you're looking at somebody, that's just so you know what those are. The next one that looks like a little magazine or newspaper, that's actually guides. So with a business account, you could do guides. So maybe you're going to have a guide on, how to find the best hairstyle for you, or a guide to, skincare over 50 or something like that. And then the last one with the little person on there, anytime anybody tags you in one of their posts, it's going to show up there. So that's what those little icons are. All right. Any questions on these basic things about Instagram? Nope.
So, sorry.
No problem.
Go ahead, Jeannie.
Oh, no, I'm just like learning so much. You filled in the gaps I had.
Oh, good, good.
Okay. So the post, it's everything I've posted, correct?
Yes. Yep.
But the reels are,
it's your reels, and it's just in a separate area if people just want to look at all your reels. So the post could be, so you can see here, it's let's see, what do they have here? Oh my gosh, I don't know what that little icon is. The first one, I'm not sure what that icon is. Let me pull that up really quick. But the second one where it has like, so the lady in the green dress, and it has like the squares with some squares under, that's a carousel. That means they posted multiple pictures at once, and we'll talk about those. The bottom right, that's a reel that has the little arrow sign, like the little video sign. That's a reel. So I pulled their thing up.
And Susan, a reel is where there is action going on, like a mini movie, right?
Correct. Yes. It's a 90-second video. We are going to talk about those a little bit, but yes, those are 90-second videos, and those are hot. And I'm going to give you a few tips. We're going to do a more in-depth training on reels later, another day, but I will give you some notes about that. You know what? I don't even know what that purse means on there.
that's okay. I just wanted clarification. I don't want to hold you up.
Okay. Yeah, but that's it. So the post is anything they post, whether it's a reel or an IGTV or pictures or carousels, it's all going to show up on that first page. And then it separates out reels in that second one. Good question. Okay, so let's talk quickly about professional accounts. I've already said it. Y'all need one. Sorry. Here's why. You have access to Instagram Insights. If you're using this for your business, you want to know. You'll as you're posting, you're going to learn when are my followers online? When is my best engagement? And this is all going to help you set your strategy. And it's not hard. It sounds like a lot, but it's not hard. Once you start posting, you'll see, oh, all of my clients are on before 9 a.m. So that's going to be the best time for me. I mean, I'm going to tell you the general best times to post, but you might find for your clientele and your community, that's not the best time. And you're never going to know that if you don't have access to your insights. Okay. It also gives you those call to action buttons, the contact, the email, all those things that you're not going to get on a personal site. And then if you ever do want to advertise or promote or boost, you're going to want that business account. And I'm not going to spend time doing it, but my next slide is going to be how to change it over if you don't currently have a business account. And you can screenshot it. And of course, it'll be in the replay. I'm not going to go through it step by step, but I wanted to have it out there for you. So when you go to have a professional account, it's going to ask you want a business or a creator account. Most of you are going to want a business account. So business accounts are for retailers, local businesses, brands, service providers. That's all of you. A creator account is like if you want to be an influencer, or you do music or art or something like that. Public figures like movie stars, things like that. They're going to be creator accounts. You're going to want the business account. And you can always change too. So I just chose entrepreneur. It seemed like the best fit for me because there's just they just have like a standard amount. So if you want to screenshot this page, this is exactly what you do to change your current, if you're a personal account now, to change it to a business account. And if you want me, I can just send you the slide separately if that's something that you want. So just let me know, or you can just take a screenshot of it because it's really not that hard. And I don't want to waste. I can't believe I've already been talking for 30 minutes. So I want to keep going. Okay, so there we go. All right, so let's talk about Instagram search tips. So this is how you're going to get people to start following you, is those people who use it for searching. Like I said, 40% of Gen Z prefer to use TikTok and Instagram as their search engine. So what do? You need to optimize your bio. Optimize your name field with keywords. So spend some time and maybe get a friend or a coworker or your spouse and be like, what are the things, if somebody were to need my services or my products, what would they type in a search engine? And then pull out those keywords and figure out how to get those into your name and your bio. Okay. Same thing with hashtags. So hashtags are still alive and well, and those can kind of be like a combination of your keywords, like sports clips, and 9 is kind of like a good number. And I'm going to go later in my Facebook group into more in depth on figuring out your hashtags, but it's really asking that question, putting yourself into the space of your client and what would they be searching on. And I'll kind of like guide you through that, but you can still, in the meantime, be thinking about that and coming up with those keywords. All right. Use a location tag on all your posts. If you're brick or mortar, just use the location of your business. If you are, for example, Jeannie and Mary, where you're selling services and products, but also yourself, if you're doing a personal post on there, always tag where you are. Because I do that. If I traveled a lot in 2022. And so I would search on location for like cute coffee shops or something like that. So people are going to be searching like what's near me. So use a location tag, even if you're traveling, use one, especially because both of you don't have to have local people to do your business. So people are going to find you in different ways, and they might find you for the personal things you're doing and then figure out what you do for a living or the service or product that you provide. All right. So that's important. Even, for example, Jean, always use the location of your brick and mortar. Okay. Use hashtags in all your posts and stories again, and you can make them super, super small in your stories so nobody sees them, but they're still searchable when people are looking at hashtags and they're looking at retinol, hashtag retinol, or hashtag over 50 retinol or whatever, then your things will show up. All right. So they're saying also in your profile, do your physical location. I wouldn't do your home address, but you might want to say, I'm in Canton, Georgia, in your actual profile if people are looking for somebody local. And then if you do use IGTV, you can optimize those titles and descriptions as well. So IGTV is long form video. Gosh, I want to say you can do even up to an hour now. So if you're doing like maybe Jean, you're doing a whole haircut, for somebody and you're videoing it, that would be an IGTV. And you'll want to be super descriptive in your description because and using those keywords because that's also searchable. So just really being thoughtful about what you're writing, and also even in your comments. All right, be super descriptive in your comments as well. So like if you have not your comments, your captions. So I would almost like, once you kind of come up with that base keywords, like put it in a document somewhere. I mean, that's what I do for my hashtags, is I just have it in a document and I can cut and paste it. And then I might add hashtags based on if it's specifically what that post is for, but I always have my main hashtags that I cut and paste. So write those down, try and utilize them in your stories, in your reels, in your image posts. Because you just want your products to show up when people are searching, or your services. All right. How do we engage on Instagram? All right. You need to do reels. That is the teacher's pet of Instagram right now. That's what they're pushing out. That's what they're showing. They're showing it based on your habits, but that's what they're showing. And how many of you watch reels when you get on Instagram? Okay, right. We all watch them. We all, yeah, love scrolling through them. So it's important that you get comfortable making them. And I am going to have a Reels class later in February where we're going to get a little bit more detailed in how to do that. All right. Second, be honest, authentic, honest, and relatable. Like I said, especially in stories, be real. How many of you also do stories? I love stories. No, Jean doesn't do stories. You guys do, Jeannie or Mary? Do you do stories? Oh, Katie. Oh, Katie's still trying to connect. Okay. So a lot of people I know only look at stories. But stories is where you can either you can like record a video and then upload it, or you can record on your phone and upload it, or you can record it right from Instagram, just being real, talking about your day, talking about something funny. Like today on my personal Instagram, I tried to get my dog on the treadmill with me and he wouldn't do it, but it was so funny, and so those are fun things that you can do. But stories are important, and it's important to be authentic and relatable. People, I think we're just so used to social media now that people believe you more when you're just you and you're not this portrait of what you think you should be, right? Like they want to engage with people who are like them. Still have plenty of filters out there if you want to do, and I do filters sometimes too, so no shame in filters, but actually as well, you want to just go out there and be yourself. You don't have to have this huge, beautiful house to be in your kitchen doing a reel. You don't have to, it could just be, I live in a little townhouse with a teeny tiny kitchen, and I am still going to, video that in my, what's the difference between reels and stories? Okay, great question. Okay, so stories are, so let me tell you, reels, let me go to reels first. Reels are actual videos that you can add sound to, you can do voiceovers, you can just speak, and they're processed as a video, okay? And they go into your post. They're part of your post. They're there forever until you delete it. A story, okay, let me see if I can share my screen really quick. I'm going to share my, my phone. So give me 1 sec. I'm going to stop this and I'm going to share my screen with my phone. Okay, give me 1 sec. Okay, so here is my phone. So you can see that. The top here with the buttons, it says my story. That's an image of me. There's my friend Chelsea, my daughter-in-law. You see those little bubbles at the top? Those are stories. I'm going to just show you mine. So here's the one I showed you. It's just a little 22-second video of me trying to walk my dog on my walking pad. Okay, so then I just said that and I added a little music to it because he was like not having anything to do with it. So that was just a story that I posted today. And that's going to go away, except what I'm going to actually do, I'll do that right now. See that little highlight button at the bottom? Oops, let me pull it back up. That highlight button at the bottom, I'm
Mhm.
going to add that. I click that, I'm going to add it to my highlights. So this is what I was telling you on your profile. Of course, my highlights aren't going to come up now. I have a dog mom highlight bubble on my personal page, and anything that has to do with my dog, I put on there. For some reason, it's not coming up, probably because I'm sharing my screen, but I could add it there. So I'm sorry that that's not working. So these are stories. So while that's a video, I could have made it a reel. Instead of putting it on my stories, I could have made it a reel, and then it would be out there and more searchable, but I didn't really want that as a reel. But I could have made it as a reel. So that's just on my stories, and that'll go away in 24 hours. But all of my followers, if they go up and click on my little bubble, it'll come up with, Susan Kimmel, they could see that. So I'll just show you my friend Chelsea's. So she's just talking about her day, right? She has staring at a blank screen. Here's a video of her driving by the mountains at her house in an airplane. So those are the fun things that you can put on stories to just really engage people in, like, oh, I'm just a regular person selling this, and
So
oh, by
do the
the way,
stories stay there for a period of time and leave, or?
yep, they stay there for 24 hours unless you put them in your highlights. And
Okay.
it didn't fully work on here, but like you saw that when I was in my highlights, if I clicked on, oh, there they are. So I clicked
Oh,
on
yeah.
that, put them at the bottom, and then I can do dog mom, and then it's
Okay.
added to dog mom. So let me go to my profile. Oh my gosh, hold on. Wrong one. So here's my profile. This is my personal profile. So now if I go to dog, so see how I have entrepreneur and my link tree, and then I have dog mom. You see under where the circles are, it says dog mom. So if I click on that, oh, these are all the ones I have. I'm not going to make you look through them, but it'll be in there. You can go look at yourself, but it'll be in there now. So that's all the pictures of all of my dogs that I've taken over the years are in there. So then reels, let me click on here. So reels. So these are all my reels. This is what it would look like. I have some that I started, like I have one that I'm doing for January. It's in drafts, but these are all just my video reels, and they're all, they can be up to about 90 seconds is what they're at. So these are all just videos. You see, I love my dog. A lot of them are my dog. But that's just reels. But then these are my posts. So I have some that are pictures, some that are reels, some that are carousel. So I do a lot of reels. Okay, so does that make sense then?
Totally.
Okay, great. All right, so let's see if I can. Okay, let me go back to sharing my PowerPoint or my presentation. All right. Use stickers. So in stories and in videos, you can use stickers. Actually, should I just show you? Let me just show you. As I'm sitting here reading it, I should have been more interactive. So bear with me. Let me share my iPhone again. Okay, so let me just go back to Instagram. Okay, so let's pretend like I'm going to do a story. I'm probably not actually going to do one. Actually, let's do this. So, okay, so to add a story, I just clicked on my image at the top where it says your story. I just clicked on that. And then I'm going to click on my picture again at the top. You see at the top left hand, there's a picture of me and a little plus sign. I'm going to click that, and it's going to take it to my recent pictures. So I'm going to actually take a picture. So I hit the camera, and I'm going to take a picture of my screen because I'm giving a class. Okay, so there's my screen. So I just took a picture right from Instagram. All right. And that's a picture of this class that I'm giving. So there's a couple things I can do with this. And one of the things that they recommend is that you use stickers. So if I click the little smiley face at the top, you see that smiley face? There's 4 circles at the top and a letter, a text, A and A, and then a smiley face. I'm going to hit that smiley face. These are all the stickers. So you can add, you can mention people. So you could tag clients. You could click on music and add music. Things that are really good for engagement are like a poll. So I click a poll and I could ask a question. Did you attend my class tonight? My class. Okay. And then I can even change yes or no and say, it was awesome. I will next time. Right. And then that encourages people to engage with your post. So when they say stickers, it's all of these things, anything that will really prompt people to react. So I love that one. I'm going to delete this. So I just have my finger on it and I'm just moving it down to the trash can to delete it if you don't like it. So then there's also questions. You can say, what did you learn in my class tonight? And then people can respond. So that's another option for engagement. If I hit stickers again, if you're a business, well, I think everybody can do that. It used to be only business. You could add a link and I could add my registration page to how to register for another class or my website, or you could, anything that you would want people to go to, whether that was your website, booking application, calendar, something like that. Oh, here's a fun one. Like you could say, did you enjoy my class? And then they just swipe that over that little happy face all the way to the right if you loved my class, or whatever. You could ask any question and they would just swipe it. A lot of times I've seen people use it like, is this, do you like this? Is this cute? Or, whatever, something like that. Just whatever question you want. So those stickers all help with engagement because it's like a fun call to action, right? So let's move this over, use stickers. Okay. I'm going to skip around a little bit while I'm sharing my screen. So I'm going to discard this. You could save it as a draft. So like maybe you started working on it, but you had to answer the phone. You could just save it as a draft. It'll be in your draft, or you can discard it. I'm going to discard it. So let's go back to my home page. Carousels. So I'll tell you why carousels are great. I just went to Utah and visited my daughter. So I did a carousel. So you can see you can add up to 10 images at once. So I'm just going to keep swiping. And here's pictures from my trip. So the great thing about a carousel is if this shows up in people's feed, it'll show up the first time with this first image. If they don't swipe and look at every image, it'll come back around and then it'll show them the second one. So they'll just keep seeing this post over and over again until they swipe all the way through. So it's a great way for one post to get like all of these different views, right? Because a lot of times people won't scroll until then they notice like, oh, didn't I just see her post? And they'll be like, oh, it's a carousel. I'm going to scroll through and look at all of them now. So carousels are great. Like I would do a carousel. Like if you're going to put, and we're going to talk about posting like 3 times a week, I'd try and do one, at least once a week, every other week. They're just a great way to get in front of your potential clients multiple times. All right. Okay, so I think that's it for me actually showing you my phone. So let me go back to the presentation. All right, image quality. Image quality is important, especially not really in stories. Stories is just that it's every day. I'm showing you the nitty gritty, just what life is, right? But if you're going to do images, do quality images. Phones now are so amazing, right? There's also a lot of search for online iPhone or whatever phone you have classes. I took one and it was like a $40 class over a week period. And it was the best thing I ever did. It was a couple years ago and I'm still using these techniques that I learned from that. And you'll find what I'll actually try and remember to post it in the Facebook group, the gal that I did it with. I'll see if she's still offering them. And it just taught me a lot about light and different things that are just important. Because your phones can do good quality, but if you don't know like where images should be or where the sun should be or whatever, it's just really helpful things for like hardly any money. So image quality is important for posts. We talked about carousels, strong captions, using those keywords. They're also searchable. I think you can have like 2,000, not words, but 2,000 letters. And it's kind of, I would do a mix of long and short. Sometimes short and to the point is all you need, but sometimes you really want to talk a little bit about what that post, like what that means to you, being, you know, that whole authentic, honest, and relatable. You can't be that in a short caption, but just really spend a little bit of time on captions. And the main thing about captions is being authentic, have a call to action at the end, and make sure that it's relevant to your audience. Okay, UGC, user generated content. This is crucial for businesses. And this is a whole class by itself, user generated, and all user generated content is other people who are creating content for you. Okay, so maybe that's, you know, it could be like Jean, for you, you're taking image, you know, getting permission to post images of them, but maybe also saying, if you post an image, tag us and we'll retag you, you know, and like have some sort of promotion or something like that, where you're getting people to post about their experience at your store, or their experience with you, or the products or the services that you offer. You can do contests. I suggest having your own hashtag that's just for you. You can see if it's out there, you know, somebody else might be using it too, but have like a custom hashtag. Maybe it has your name in it or something like that, that's unique to you, and ask people to use that. Number one, it's easy to find. They can also tag you, then it will show up on your profile page under those tagged ones, and then you can share it. So having a user generated content strategy is important. Like I said, people want to hear what other people have to say about your products or services. And that's one of the reasons they go to Instagram, because they can get real feedback on what you offer. So having a strategy for that is important. And this number one right here is key. Reply to every comment and every DM. Don't just like it. Don't just heart it. Don't just respond with an emoji. Say something in about at least 4 words. Because people want to know you're a real person. They want to know there's a real person behind your brick and mortar, and do it pretty quickly. I mean, I'm not saying you have to live on Instagram. Do it within a day, right? Reply within a day. You know, like maybe you pick some time at night where you're just going to go and reply to everything. That's fine. You don't have to do it that instant, but make sure you reply to all comments and legitimate DMs and legitimate comments. You know, you don't have to reply to, you know, bots or people who are trying to sell something else on your comments. That will happen. You'll put something out there and somebody will try and sell them, you know, I don't know, something else on your comments. You don't have to reply to those, but to real comments and DMs, it's important that you're engaging in that way. And also, if you know you're going to post something, you know, maybe about 5 or 10 minutes before you post it, engage with people in other ways. Look at their stories, respond to it, go through your feed, comment on some other people's posts, post yours, and then spend a little time afterwards, 5 minutes, going back and and commenting. The more you comment and engage, the more Instagram is going to be pushing your material out. They want you to also be engaging. Does that make sense? So it's worth it if you have the time, and you might not have the time every time, especially if you're scheduling it, because you can schedule your posts, which is a whole nother class. But if you're scheduling it, you might forget, oh my gosh, I scheduled it to go out at 8 this morning and I forgot to go out and engage. But if you can remember on some days to go out and engage before and after, that's going to be important for getting your content pushed out more. All right, so let's talk about engagement rate. Everybody worries about it. And it's good when you get started is just kind of start tracking it. So this is the average Instagram engagement benchmarks. So these are likes for all post types. So the average is 0.54%. I don't know if you remember, but at the beginning, we talked about how accounts under 5,000 have better engagement. That was like, I want to say it was like a 3.6% engagement for accounts under 5,000 compared to the average, which is 0.54. So you probably could go out now and I did it on mine and I was happily surprised at where my engagement rate was. It's just interactions over audience, and that's how many followers you have. So if you look at how many likes did I have on a photo or a reel, divided by your followers times 100, you can kind of compare it to these benchmarks. Okay, so this is for all post types. Photo is 0.46, video posts is 0.61, and carousels is 0.62. So that's just something, if you want to start tracking that, I'm actually I just was getting ready for February before this, and I have a whole little sheet where I'm going to start tracking a lot of this stuff on my own, just to kind of watch my growth as I keep moving forward in my business. So if you're a numbers person, track number grows. So if you really are serious about upping your Instagram game, I would definitely think about tracking it. Even if you just do it like, every Sunday, I'm going to look at my numbers. That's fine. You don't have to do it every day. All right. So when to post images to Instagram, this is like I said, once you have a business account and you start posting consistently, you can look at what your numbers are saying, but this is what Instagram says, or this is what Hootsuite. So I found this on Hootsuite, which is they have a great blog. If you have questions, I love their blogs. I love their articles about social media. The very best time is Wednesdays at 11. So that's the ideal time, but here's some other times. So it's, it's also trial and error though. If you are posting Monday at noon and you're just not getting it, then try Monday at 9, try Monday at 6, like give it a couple times with these. And if you're not getting it, then your clients might just be different, right? Like your followers might just be different, but this is a great starting point. Okay. Best time to post reels, Monday through Thursday. I will agree. I've posted things on weekends and they just flop. So Monday through Thursdays, 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. That's like the standard. Once again, it could be different for you, but these are just great guidelines to get started. And as you keep going, you'll see what works for your customer base. All right. How often? All right. I love the statistics. I just added a few more statistics in here. I love this kind of stuff. 63% of American users check Instagram at least once a day, and 42% check several times a day. So the several times a day is great for all of us because maybe you're going to hit them at one of those times when they log in. But feed posts for anybody under that 5,000 followers. Does anybody have more than 5,000 at this point? Okay. 3 times a week, just your feed, like regular posts. You could do like an image, you could do a carousel and a reel. That's a great place to start. Do 1 image post a day, do 1 carousel or a week. I mean, do 1 carousel and do a reel a week. If you aren't consistent on Instagram, I think that's a great place to start. See what you get. The more confident you get in doing that, the more you're going to be able to do it. It's okay to do it every day. I would definitely do stories every day though. So you can, and that, like I said, that should not be high stress. It doesn't have to be the quality that you put into your feed posts. It could just be fun, fun stuff about your business and your personal life. Jean, it could be, people that you see every day. It could even just be, oh, here's, a hairstylist, and what's her, you can even do like, tip of the day, right? Like a hairstylist comes on, a hair care tip of the day. And that could be a story, and then you could put it in highlights so people can go back and look at them. So, there's lots of fun things that you can do if you just sit down for a little bit and try and get creative about your business. But I would definitely do stories daily. You always want your circle to be up there on your followers stories feed. All right. Super quick. How are we on time? We have 4 minutes. All right. So let's talk about, this is my last slide. So let's talk about Reels. They do get 22% more interaction on Instagram than just videos. So if you just like would post a video that wasn't a reel, they can be up to 90 seconds. There's templates. So if you, next time you're looking through Reels, look for one that says template on it. It'll be kind of like in the lower left-hand side. If you click on that, it'll pull up that audio and it'll say, whatever that, and I have some on mine. If you want to go to just Susan S. Kimmel and look on mine, some of mine are templates. So usually it's to music or a voiceover or something like that. So that audio is already there and it'll tell you, you need 10 photos for this or 10 videos for this. And you just plug them in and you hit publish and that reel is done. It's that easy. So like I said, I'll be doing a Reels class a little bit later, but play around with that. You can play around it and never publish anything. But templates are great for easy and fast reels. Use trending audio. It's always a good idea to, I wouldn't recommend doing it every time, but trending audios are great to get some exposure. Here, you don't want to use low quality video or recycled videos. And by recycled videos, it means you created it in TikTok and you downloaded it and then uploaded it to Instagram. It has that little TikTok logo on it. Instagram will not like that and they will not push it out. So make sure you're not recycling those videos. Use captions and or text. Okay. And I do this in stories too. When I am speaking in a story or doing a video, I use captions because not everybody watches with their volume on. All right. Jean and I work together in our day job. I look at them sometimes in meetings. So I can't have the volume on. So I want the words, right? So even if you don't want to use I know some people don't like captions. I love captions. I think it's super accessible. You can always put text in basically about what you're saying. So I think those are super important and they make it available to everybody. Sometimes it's a mama at night up with her baby, rocking her baby, and she's looking at it and she's not going to have her volume on, right? So always use captions or text. And then here's just a few other tips about the aspect of your ratio. Your Instagram reel should be an aspect of 9:16 and the resolution, if that means anything to you. We'll do a more in-depth reel class. And then always use hashtags and keywords in your description and even the words on your video as well. So those are just some tips and tricks for reels, super high level. All right. We have a few minutes. We have 1 minute left. Any questions before we stop the show? I'm going to stop share. Anything? What was one thing that you learned today that you didn't know?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
On Instagram, if you put it as a business, is there any charge for any of this? Is there any cost involved that you have to give a credit card?
No, there's no cost
Okay.
unless you want to use it, do ads. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And you don't have to enter a credit card to have a business account. Yeah. So,
Interesting.
oh, I'm so glad you're on, Mary Beth. Thanks for joining. All right. Well, if we don't have anything, I did record it and I'll send that link out to you tomorrow. It'll just be on YouTube for you to watch or send to anybody that you think this might be beneficial to. So thanks for being on, everybody. Hope you learned something new.
We did. Thank you.
Thanks, Susan.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.